Okay, good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing well.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, good morning. Okay, so let's get started. So, I have posted basically a couple of posts on the Google Classroom in the last past week. So, what we have shared, let me share. Okay, hold on. Yeah. So, one of the posts I made, so that is regarding, so kind of every week we are going to have kind of tutorial or doubt clearing session, that whatever you can call. So approx 4 to 5 project groups we have assigned one ta who will be helping you, working with you very closely, and will provide all possible help that you require. And uh, the person will also be holding a mandatory session every week. So you can see for different tas, I mean, we have the following slots. So I hope some of the slots were yesterday and probably day before yesterday, so that you have attended. So feel free to please follow this, and because all these slots will be taken by ta and they will be there to help you to discuss whatever the questions doubt you have. So fully utilize this session that we are providing. In addition to that, what I have mentioned, so we have circulated a Google form through which basically you can ask different questions that you have, right? So feel free to ask your questions, and we will try to basically document the responses for them here as well, so that if others want to probably refer them, can refer them. So I think it is not updated that at the moment, but I have asked TAs to basically, yeah, so write down whatever the common questions they face, they can write down here. So this is a list of documents I have shared. Another post that I have made regarding, yeah, so since some of you have requested for if you could have kind of introductory session for NLP, kind of some background stuff, and so Abhishek kindly agreed to take the session on Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30. So those who need, so I request you to attend it. And yeah, so as Abhishek kindly agreed, yeah, so if required, it can be extended further in order to provide you this help, provide the help. As I have also mentioned, so we are planning to have similar session for ML introduction or something. So that will be in the next week, and Rahul will be helping with the same. Okay. So these are some, I mean, updates on the course in terms of, I mean, trying to help you in different ways. And I hope, I mean, these initiative will help you, and thank you to my TAs for the providing such help. Okay, so yeah, so anything other than this, you have any question or something?
Sir, will the background session on NLP will be recorded because I am traveling at that time and I wanted to have attend that
Sure,
session.
sure. So I will ask TA to record, and those who are attending, kindly remind him again when you start the session, when he start the session. So kindly remind him again to record the session. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Yeah. So I will also ask him to record the session. Okay. Great. So let's get started with probably the last lecture on the, I mean, the initial introduction that we have on the binary query, and then probably we'll be going further with the rest of the topic in information retrieval. So let's get started with this. So in the previous lecture, if you recall, we discussed in great details about how the inverted indexes, uh, how the inverted index can be created, how they are useful in queries, right? And similarly, how the Boolean query can be fired, and how basically you can get the response to your Boolean query if you have inverted index. So that we have discussed in greater details. So I hope that is clear to you. If not, firstly, try to utilize the form that I have shared, discuss that in probably in greater details with the TAs. And since we are following the textbook we have already provided, I will upload the chapter as well after the class today, so that you can also have a look. So that is, everything is based on that. And feel free to ask any questions that you have, and fully utilize the session that we are having every week. So it, as the name clear, as the name it is evident, I mean, it's a doubt clearing session. So feel free to discuss any doubts that you have related to the course and also the project and probably so on. So in the last lecture, we have discussed about the Boolean retrieval models in inverted index. So in this particular class, we'll be discussing probably in greater details how the extended Boolean queries and the models can be done. So in Boolean queries, if you recall, I mean, we mentioned that these are the exact match that we do, because whatever the term you have, so for the given term, you look for the posting list, and once you have the posting list, you get the response. If it is a query like and, you try to find the intersection. So we discuss about the merge algorithm, and then after the merging you can get it. So like in case of Boolean retrieval model, so it is able to ask query that is in Boolean expression, just to formalize the definition. And Boolean queries are often in the form of and, or not, right? So because any query that you can uh, represent using this. So views each document, basically in case of Boolean retrieval model, it views each document as a set of words, because if you recall, we divide the document in a number of terms, and these terms are kind of nothing but a kind of words, right? So these terms or tokens are kind of words. And again, I mean, we have discussed in the previous class, you need to probably perform the, you need to perform the lemmatization or probably stemming in order to have the root word or the uh, it's a other related words, so that you can perform the matching. And from the name itself, since it is clear, it is precise because the document matches or not, right? So since it's a kind of kind of based on the perfect match, so that's why it's a precise. Every time, I mean, you perform the query, you'll get the same response. And since it's based on the Boolean query, you can represent the query in form of uh, Boolean forms, right? In that case, I mean, it is kind of very simple model to build, and you can simply build such IR system which is based on for a given query. You can use different, I mean, the Boolean operation to divide the a long query into small tokens and perform the further operation in order to get the final answer. So this is we have done similar queries in case of Boolean retrieval model in the last class. We have discussed the example of Brutus, Caesar, and so on. So since it is very simple model, so that's why, I mean, it was uh, it was used in greater details, especially before the invention of www. In that case, I mean, there are several companies which are using such kind of retrieval model, uh, and primarily using the Boolean queries. And there are still companies which they are using. Again, it's not, and their operations is not only limited to and or not. They have added probably other complex operation to that, because you cannot probably get the very relevant answer only based on these, or probably not very precise. So in that case, probably you need to perform additional operations. So that we'll be discussing in today's lecture. So Boolean queries example, I mean, that you have seen, I mean, in the email, especially the library catalog and Mac OS Spotlight, I mean, they are still using the Boolean, and yeah, or kind of variant of Boolean retrieval model. So one example of such company which using kind of Boolean retrieval model, at least before the invention of www, World Wide Web. So in that case, you can see the Westlaw is one of the largest commercial legal company, and started probably in 1975, which is much before the uh, invention of kind of www, right? So they added ranking after 1992, and probably new federated search added 2010. So it's more about adding the feature for the free text. I mean, you can ask any query using the free text. So kind of they are also evolving their methods, and so they have tons of terabytes of data, and probably more than 700,000 of users and so on. So this shows like, this shows, I mean, the majority of still uses Boolean queries because they are very much satisfied with that. So again, their Boolean queries is not only limited to and or, but also involves other complex operations. Just like you can see here, /3 is nothing but like within the 3 words. So it's more like they are also considering proximity. So when I say the proximity, like the, I mean, they're limiting like the statue action should be within 3 words. Similarly, same sentence. So /s is kind of same sentence. So like federal and tort should be in the same sentence. So instead of sentence, it could be paragraph, it could be probably the same line, and that is sentence which is already there, or probably within set of word and so on. So it means basically uh, in Boolean queries, the people were using traditionally and or not. You can basically add additional constraint, or you can say additional uh, filters through which you can get the more appropriate response for your query. So this is how the Westlaw will basically work. So another example is more like, if your input I mean the information need is this particular thing, like requirement for the disabled people to be able to access a workplace, right? So again, I mean, using this query, they have translated, it's more like this is the representation of the query for this given information need. So in this case, you can see, so they have used disable column. So again, so these different construct they have used for differently. So it's more like a regular expression. So the colon, I mean, this particular exclamation sign means anything after disable will match it. So like disable, so after that, whether it's ea or whatever, I mean, it will match. So it's kind of they are matching the partial query, because in the earlier Boolean query that you have done, you are doing the exact matching of the terms of the token. So here basically they are expanding it, so that probably you can get the some more relevant responses. Can anybody answer why we need to use such kind of operations? Anyone? Why do we need this kind of exclamation in order to probably consider, it's more like wild search, right? Anyone?
Yes.
Sir,
Sir,
like maybe
it's
there are some form of error
yes.
present in the data itself.
Abhinav, could be a bit loud. Okay, Akanksha, would you like to answer?
Sir, I don't have any idea about that.
Okay, no issue.
So
Riddhi?
I guess it might be a root word kind of thing, like disable should be matched exactly like this.
So
I
there
mean,
may
Okay.
be some
That
form
to
of
find all
errors present in the data itself.
to find all the root words.
Yeah, so because the problem is, I mean, there might be different variant, right? I mean, because uh, if people have to write the same thing, it could be basically the way they can write anything. And often root word is not the solution, right? So, and often, I mean, you may not basically do the indexing of everything, right? At least in terms of a root word. So often people do such kind of wild search just to give a kind of a wide coverage of the query matching, so that it matches with probably other thing. But there could be one drawback of this as well. Anybody highlight what could be the drawback?
The search can be like there will be more
like search complexity will be like increase, like it will increase
Certainly, certainly. Very
the
nice.
wild search, so it
Yeah,
will increase.
yeah, very nice. Anything other than that?
Sir, some short forms will not work here.
Sorry, Rahul, could you repeat?
Sir, some short form like we can write the disable, we can ignore the A. Some people uses some short forms, then this query
Okay,
will
okay.
not work on.
Okay, so you're saying, I mean, they are using abbreviation for that. Like instead of writing disable, they may just write DSBL, right?
Yes, 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 correct.
Okay. Yeah, so that is
Sir,
it.
also it will not work if there is some kind of spelling mistake in the data itself. It will not directly going to match exactly.
Right, right. Any other issue that you can visualize?
Or words with similar spelling but have a different meaning will also get covered in this scenario.
Yeah, yeah. So it's more kind of, I mean, somehow you are highlighting there might be some false positive result as well, right? Right? Yeah. So in this way, basically you can see, I mean, here, and what is the benefit of using this proximity operator that you are using, whether it's like /p, that is the same sentence, /s, that is within the same sentence, and probably the /3, that is within 3 words. Do you think, I mean, such proximity operator are useful in case of query? And if so, then how they are helping? Anyone?
So that the words which we are searching for in, like in the same context and have their meaning as we want them to be.
Very nice. So it's basically we try to keep the context in the operation, I mean while doing the query, right? And the context basically help us, the context basically help us to fulfill the gap between the information need and the query representation. Because if you recall, I mean, there is basically um, there is basically a kind of semantic gap between the what information you want and the way you represent query, and probably what the answer you will get it, right? So often there might be a good semantic gap. So in order to fulfill that, I mean, yeah, so our query should be represented, should be as close as compared as similar to the probably the information we want, right? So for example, consider a case of Stanford University, or probably university in Stanford. If we are going to search by only by tokens, right? So both having Stanford and university, both sentence, right? But are they same? Semantically,
No.
are they same
No,
or
sir.
different?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So semantically they are different. So it means probably, yeah, we need better ways. In order to perform that. So one way could be proximity. So that proximity could be, so for example, yeah, there should be adjacent, like within one word, for example, within one word, within 2 words. And similarly, you can think of, I mean, you can restrict it to within the same sentence, within the same paragraph. Because probably I
So
have
could you
given just
explain
example of,
how, like this is something that we can do manually, but how will we identify whether disabled needs to be in the same sentence or adjacent or say close to 3 places of some other word?
no, so this is the implementation part that we have to think of. So this is the way they represent the query, right? Because there are 2 parts. One is the query representation, and in order to support this query representation and probably you do the information retrieval, you also need to do changes at the indexing side. So for example, the way we have indexed earlier is not going to support this query, right? So
Right.
that means we have to make changes over there
No,
as well.
I mean how to convert the query to this form.
So that is based on the experience, right? So for example, here the query is requirement for disabled people. So here basically we want disabled. So again, it's a disabled or whatever. Yeah, so there could be several variant, right? So that's why probably the person who is writing the query may experience, most of the people probably either write disabled or disably, I don't know, whatever, some variant he might have observed, right? So based on his observation, he find that at least these first characters like disable is most common, and after that people use other words, I mean the other characters, right? So that's why I just use the kind of wildcard here, card search, right? In that case, it could be disable search. So here we are talking about access for disabled people, right? So in order to find access, so it means uh, disable and access should be within the probably the same paragraph or probably the same sentence. So here probably again, so what I'm saying, the query representation here may not be the best way of representation. So if you feel, I mean, if you are the one who is writing the query, you say, no, I think within the same paragraph won't make sense here. It should be within the same sentence. So in that case, probably you can make it S, right? So here we are talking about access to disabled people. So in this way, you can mention disabled and it should be within the same paragraph. So that's why probably access. And another thing that you want to talk about, access to what? Access to workplace. So how the workplace can be met? So it's more like, I mean, you try to relate with the regular expression. So again, this
I
is kind
will,
of
yeah,
regular.
basically, like the basic doubt is that it requires so much human understanding of the query.
Yeah, that
You
that
need to
requires
un-
that requires that
Right.
requires.
So how will that happen automatically? Because you said this is the simplest model, so I was just wondering
No, no,
how
no, no,
would
no,
you.
no, no. This is not the simplest model. I said simplest model is simple, just using and or not. But
Right,
you
right.
are not able to get everything solved by this. So that's why you need to add complexity. This is what I said. You need to add the other complex kind of operator with this. So in order to basically fulfill the information need. So these complex operator, that's why I said, I mean, it's relatively complex as compared to, so you need to introduce within the, I mean, you need to introduce this proximity search, and that proximity search could be within the same sentence, within the few words, or probably within the other thing. Yeah, so again, I agree with you, it's not as simple as compared to the previous one. So that's why, but again, the simplest model may not give you the best result. So that's why the people go for adding complexity and so on.
So what is the purpose of using employment inside parentheses here?
So so employment I need to check, because I think employment is not part of the sentence. I understand like workplace. So here basically, if you look at in the workplace could be written in many ways. It could be work site, it could be written by, so basically the here the operator hyphen, it means it will search with either work site, either there is space between them or not, whether they are adjacent to each other or not. So based on that it do. So I need to check, I need to cross verify. The employment here is mean it should be within three. I mean this place they can be basically matched with the work site as well. So that I have to verify. But I believe it's the operator basically helping within three words. You need to match with place, because in this query, I guess they have used place, but in the document it might be work site or something. So yeah, but again I have to verify that.
Okay, sir.
Sir, it will be related to requirement. Suppose requirement is basically referring to.
Sorry, Rahul, I could not hear you. Could you please repeat again?
Sir, it can be related to requirement because employment is basically it is requiring people for employment only. So we can say that employment is related to requirement.
Yeah, it could be, but as I said, yeah, so I have not created this query, I've just taken from the book, right? So again, I have also said like it may not be the I mean these query representation is not the unique representation for the given query. Different people can write the same, I mean the different queries for the same query, same information need or the question you have, right? So it may be requirement, could be employment. Yeah, you might be right.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah, Divya.
Sir, like it's over there, it's written, it's coming in the same paragraph than in same sentence. But sir, in this sentence, sir, coming in same sentence doesn't imply that in which order are they coming. It's just like they are coming in paragraph and then sentences.
So that's why basically, I mean, you'll be studying later in the class today. So that's why, I mean, we not only need to consider the same paragraph or sentence, and because it is a bit difficult to keep track of this. So that's why probably you need to store the position of these tokens as well. Because once you have the position, so probably you may perform better proximity search, or probably whether they are near, not near. Because often in terms of proximity, right? In terms of proximity, like University of Delhi or Delhi in University, right? Or University in Delhi or Delhi of University, whatever you can write. The proximity is same for both, right? Proximity is same. I mean, they are just one word or two word apart, but they totally change the meaning. So it means only the proximity is not the solution, but you also have to consider the order in which they are coming, right? So if you also have to consider the order in which they are coming, so you'll have to basically keep their position. So that's what basically we will be introducing later on. Because again, so any technology or probably the method basically evolve over the time, and they keep basically try to solve the problem which people encounter. Because we have seen that in the simple query, like if you are representing the query only in the form of and or a not, probably you are not keeping track of the proximity. So that's why the proximity operator has been introduced, right? So but when people looking at the proximity operator, so yeah, of course you are able to solve some of the issue with the earlier solution that you have, but they feel, yeah, so not only the proximity is the solution, but they also realize that, okay, so probably the ordering is also one of the important part. So that's why the people later on added the proximity in addition to probably their position, and that will be doing.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So in this way, you can see, I mean, the long precise queries and probably the proximity operator. So they are incrementally developed. That's why I said, I mean, it's basically increased over the time, right? And not like just web search. So many professional search are still like Boolean search, because the one benefit of Boolean search is like you will get exactly what you are getting. It's more explainability, but it never mean that the Boolean search is better than the you can say the free text search that you have. It's more the preference, it's more the people more comfortable with. And yeah, so this is what exactly mean. So but that doesn't mean that it actually works better than the free text search or probably the other rank based search that you'll be studying later on. But yeah, it's more about the preference. It's more about because if some person is very good at translating the information need into such kind of query, probably he may get better results because he's very good at that. Because writing free text is come up with its own challenges, right? If you write a free text which is probably doesn't make very sense, so in that case you may not able to get good results, right? So let's talk about more general queries. So for example, we in the previous class we have discussed about, you have a query, say Brutus and Caesar. So how about if we have to merge the, because in case of Brutus and Caesar, we have discussed it was very easy, right? So for Brutus you have a list, for Caesar you have a list of posting. So simply you can basically perform the merging of these two things and you can get it. But what if we have to merge the two what if we have to merge these or probably perform this operation, Brutus and not Caesar? Anybody comment how we can do so? Anyone?
Sir, by complementing the list of Caesar.
By complementing. So if you recall, suppose this is the length of posting list of Brutus is X. For Caesar, it's Y. What do you think will be the time complexity for this operation?
Sir, For merging, it is going to be length of Brutus plus Caesar, and for complementing, it is going to be the length of Caesar. And so we have to like, it is going to be the same as merge complexity.
Okay. So can you tell in terms of x and y? Suppose this is x, Caesar is y.
So overall
what do you
time
think the time
complexity is going to be order of x plus y.
Order of x plus y. Are you sure? Because here it's a not Caesar, right?
Sir, the complementing is also going to take order of y. So I'm telling the overall time complexity.
Anyone else?
So for first one it will be x, and second one x plus.
Sorry, I cannot hear you. I think I have some issue.
Maximum of x and y.
Maximum of x and y, is that you saying? Okay.
So x for the first one.
Okay. So if as I said, this is x, this is y, are you sure you are able to complete this in x and y, order of x and y? Because when you say, because often when you say not Caesar, it means all the documents which don't have the Caesar. And what are all the documents which don't have Caesar, right? So if the number of document in your database is say Z or probably N, right? Then not Caesar will be N minus Y, right? And in that case, the time complexity for this will be probably Brutus, that is X, not Caesar, that is order of N minus Y, that is close to Y. I mean the N. So in that case, but do you think that that is still linear, right? Right? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes.
if it is, yeah, so if this is still linear, then what can we achieve? I mean, how about Brutus or not Caesar? Because Brutus and not Caesar is fine. I mean, it is this. How about Brutus or not Caesar? Will this be the same or different?
Sir, actually, the second query, the complexity would be equal to total number of all documents rather than relying on the length of the linked list.
Right. Because in case of OR, you need to cover everything, right? In case of AND, I mean, probably you only want to focus on probably the intersection. And so that's why, I mean, in case of, if you have to find the estimate, or you can see the estimate, how many probably the documents will be there. So again, it's estimates. So you can simply sum these two, right? I mean, the number of documents might be and if you are going to probably merge these two, the maximum number may be the smallest of these two, right? And this basically lead you, what are the other best way of merging and the query optimization that you can perform. So for example, what about an arbitrary kind of Boolean formula, Brutus or Caesar, and not this and that? So it means, can we still do in this, by the way, can we still do this in linear time? Because this will be in linear time, right? This will be in linear time. And again, so that is the query. I mean, if we can do in linear time, then linear in what? Any guess? Any comment?
Sir, we can do the Brutus or Caesar in linear time, and Antony or Clef or what is this in linear time, and then complementing it, that is again in linear time, and merging, that is again linear time. So I think yes.
Yeah, so that's right. So but how about linear in what? Linear in length of what? Is it like linear in terms of
length whole text, that is n complete text?
So linear in terms of the whole document that you have, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So
because we are using the end. Oh, sorry,
yeah,
not yes.
Yeah. So can we do a better job? Because when we say the linear in terms of documents, so as you know, I mean, probably on Google or probably for other search engine, they have billions of documents, right? And even, I mean, if you are going to extend the, if you are going to if you are going to extend the information retrieval capability to dark web, it is going to be probably several times of billions of documents that year. By the way, do you know what is dark web?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to comment, Niskars, what is dark web?
So it is the part of web that is inaccessible directly and can be accessed through other means, but that does not that means it's like every system acts as a server and then it connects to the internet.
Very nice. So it's more kind of directly not accessible by the internet, right? So often, I mean, such kind of dark web, there are multiple times of at least the whatever the data which is already indexed and available on the web. So it means, I mean, even though it is in linear time, that will be too much, right? Can we reduce it by something? And if you think we can reduce, then reduce by how much? Anyone?
So we can work it in x order of x log y.
Order
The
of x log y.
previous query.
But order of x is itself is linear of whole document size, right?
X is the length of Brutus now.
Yeah, x is the length of Brutus, but the Brutus length usually in the you can say what will be the in the worst case, what will the length of Brutus? Brutus came in all the documents.
Okay.
Right? Anyone? If we can perform better than this, then how much better we can do based on your guess or intuition?
So we can break down the query into multiple queries so that the first query like Brutus or Caesar, that will give some result. If not worst case, then whatever the value we get, we can then apply the second query over that set of query, over that set of results, sorry. And that may also reduce our time.
Right. So in a way that you are suggesting, kind of we are reducing by some constant or probably some constant in the linear time, right? Or probably
Yes, yes.
half or something, 1/3 or something, right?
Something
but,
like that.
But still it is much better than the linear thing, right? So it's kind of, I mean, yeah, definitely we can probably do better and probably we can reduce it by some constant, and that constant may be probably good enough to keep the data in our memory, because if you want to perform a quick retrieval or something, right, in that case, if you can load the data in your memory, you can perform a better or probably very fast job. And especially the retrieval is something that need to be performed in the real time, right? If the retrieval is going to take much time, I mean, you won't be satisfied and probably don't like the system. For example, you ask some question and your retrieval model say, okay, so since the for example, the Brutus is available say in 5 billion documents, I am just searching for your complex query, and it will just get back to you after an hour, right? After an hour it came, and then you'll say, okay, so I mean, yeah, so what is the because often the stale information is something you don't want, because suppose you're dealing with a kind of stock or something, right, which are very sensitive to the time. I mean, you want to buy some stock and you ask query, okay, so how say for example the person is doing. So because these days even people instead of doing information retrieval, they simply look at they simply look at and what Elon Musk has tweeted, right? So because these days, I mean, a stock price usually go up and down and based on what Elon Musk tweet. So just like, I guess there was some news yesterday, and before that he just tweeted use Signal. I mean, that has changed everything about Signal, and their stock is just going up and so on. But again, that's on lighter part. But yeah, so once you have huge amount of documents and you have to perform the information retrieval in real time, yeah, so in that case you need better way or faster ways of processing queries. Probably that's why you need to perform a better query optimization and so on. So in this way, if you have this query or probably other complex query, so it means you need to perform a better query optimization, and so that you can do better. And these query optimization could be, any guess what are the different query optimization that you can perform? We discussed briefly in the last class as well. Any guess? Anyone?
So restoring the indexes, then.
Okay. Okay. What else? How do you for example, if you have to do join operation, because this is nothing but and is nothing but a kind of join, right? So if you have read in database, if you have a complex query joined by joining different table or so, how do you basically perform a optimized query? What you do there?
So we actually would push the join operators earlier in the pipeline.
Exactly. So kind of join operator earlier, or you can say how you do the join operation earlier. So in this case, probably, and again, so if you have two join operation, which join operation you will perform first?
Smallest record, like the
Right.
table that has the smallest set of records,
Right.
two tables.
Right. Exactly. So this is something we try to do here. So for example here, so what is the best order for query processing here? So consider you have a query that is an and term. So for example, here you have Brutus, Caesar, and California. So since, I mean, if you go the ad hoc way of, or you can say the normal way of query processing, since the query is Brutus and California and Caesar, right? So, I mean, suppose if you have to perform this, so one possibility could be you first perform Brutus and Caesar, and then whatever you have, then you do with the California, right? So what should be the order to, or what should be the order in which basically we need to perform different and operation here, so that we can perform the query optimization? So is this query is correct, or should we have some other order or something?
So the increasing order of frequency will work.
So the smaller sets we should take first, like California, then Brutus, then Caesar, according to the size. Like,
so at least you are clear that you don't need to take Caesar first, right? Because if you're going to have Caesar first, it means, I mean, as you know, I mean, it is probably going to take slightly more time as compared to other. So yeah, so as you are very much right, we need to start with the smallest set first, and then keep cutting further, because when you perform the and, so that's why, I mean, it is going to give you the lesser posting size, and that you have to compare with the remaining, and again it is going to be less as compared to the other operation. So that's why I start with the smallest set and then keep cutting further. So that is process in order of increasing frequency. So, and that's how is another reason, if you recall, while creating the index, right, while creating the inverted index, we also store the frequency, right? So in that case, I mean, not every time you have to go and just count the length of this posting list. Instead, you simply look at the frequency that is stored here, right? If you recall, in the inverted index that we have created, we have also stored the length of this, so that you don't need to go and manually check what is the length of this. Simply just compare with the number that you have here. And so that is why we kept the document frequency in the dictionary while creating the inverted index. So the execute query will be, as you have rightly mentioned, so it would be in the order of, like, firstly California and Brutus and Caesar, right? So in this way, you can think of more complex queries, because in this case, I mean, probably you have just three tokens here, three words here. But in case of complex query, it might be probably a bit longer. And here, in that case, I mean, it won't be probably just 10 or 5 or 2 documents, but it could be many, right? It could be too many. And that's why that's where basically you can see a significant you can reduce in processing time, even though that is just constant time of the linear length of the whole document, but that will again be fairly small as compared to the whole. So can anybody suggest here So for example, if you have these are the terms, these are the frequency. So yeah, so can you recommend a query processing order for this? Is this correct order or should we change it? Anyone? Any guess?
So we should put
Yeah, I think
kaleidoscope or
kaleidoscope and
Atom.
nice should be first.
The last one would be first.
The last one should be first because it is close to.
Sir, I think we should put the last one in the second one and the second one in the last.
Yeah, but overall idea is that you get it right, because so how you can estimate it. So in this case, the overall idea is simply what will be the length of this. I mean, because often, I mean, one option you go and manually check what is the intersection and just find the unique one, and that takes time, right? But it's better just get the kind of rough educated guess. So what will be the educated guess for this? Simply the sum of this and this, right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, I mean, for this, I mean, you can get some of this and this and this. So in this way, I mean, you had converted this into say A, B, and C, and simply then, yeah, based on the increasing length, you can just implement. Okay. I hope it is clear to everyone. Anyone who has any question here?
Sir, in some cases, we might be able to modify the query so that we have to process a lot less number of, I mean, a small part of the query than to answer the entire query.
Right. So can you give example? I mean, what do you mean?
Sir, if it were not for the AND over here, if it were OR, then we could have just processed the least one first.
Right.
And if we got a one, and that would have given us the answer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So again, that depends on the query to query, and yeah, so there basically, I mean, whatever you have learned, based on you can update the query and yeah, get it done. So similarly, you can think of meddling or proud and ignoble also. It's more like as we have said, like first you need to get the educated guess for this. So estimate the size of each or by sum of its document frequency. It's more conservative. It's more, you can say, very rough number, but still doable, or you can say a better estimate if you want to perform the, if you can perform the things very fast. In this way, you can have just numbers for this, numbers for that, and simply perform the which one is smaller, and you can put them first to process in the increasing order for our sizes. So I hope it's clear. It's the same thing that we have discussed in the last slide.
Hello.
Yes, Kapil.
Sir, apart from the query optimization, like how can we think for reducing the search space? Because like, is it possible, or if it's possible, then what can be the like base idea for that?
Yeah, so there are several ways you can think of. Again, so that comes with another kind of, you can say, because it's kind of trade-off, right? I mean, if you increase the search space, it is going to increase the time, right? So what are the other thing you can think of? You can think of making the whole process fast. So in the last class, if I recall, someone has mentioned about creating hashing. Can you perform kind of hashing in order to do a faster search? Or probably, I guess someone has also mentioned about other than hashing, can you do kind of I guess in addition to hashing, someone has mentioned about say binary search or something, because here you have all the documents stored in kind of sorted fashion, right? So again, I mean, you need to come up with a better implementation, how you can achieve that in order to make it faster, right? Because the best thing you have here, everything is sorted in, I mean, the sorted, stored in the sorted order, right? So what are the other things you can perform? So yeah, so you can give a probably more thought on this in order to make it more faster or optimized.
Okay, sir.
So these are some query processing exercise. You can simply think about it. So like if the query is friends and Romans and not countrymen, how could we use the frequency of countrymen? Anyone? So I hope it's clear. Since it's a not countryman, then simply you have to think about uh, uh, what will be the countryman occurring in the all other documents, right? So that is, you already have the list of documents available with you, and you need to think among them, right? So exercise is like extend the. So can we always guarantee execution time in the linear posting size? Try probably more. You can try probably more search feature given in this. So write down probably 5 search queries. So before we go further,
So
So
there
your
is
network
some lag.
connection is unstable.
give you the correct answer that you're looking for. And we have also discussed in the previous
Sir,
slides.
your voice, few minutes back, your voice was not
Muffled.
coming. It's still lagging.
Sir, try to turn off your video, then it should be fine, I think.
Is it better now? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, we can
Yes,
hear
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then probably I don't know. It might be some network issue, but okay, that's fine. So I hope you can hear me now. So let me share my screen again. Okay, so we have just discussed about what is the need and motivation of the phrase query. Often single, only the end is may not be the correct solution to that. And we have also discussed why do we need to have the positional indexes, because positional indexes will help you to perform a proximity search probably in a better way, because only often the ordering of the different words or probably in the phrases are important, right? So like Stanford University and University of Stanford is right. Queries could be, so as we have discussed, to be able to answer queries such as Stanford University as a phrase. So by the way, have you done a phrase?
Sir, voice is lagging. Uh,
Hello. Anyone can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm sorry about the network glitches. I don't know what is the issue I have. Okay, but anyways, thanks again for joining. So, so I was here. So I was talking about yeah. So phrase queries, right? So we have discussed in the previous classes as well. I mean the previous slides. Why do we need to probably consider the proximity and probably their ordering? So that's why probably we need to perform phrase query. So I was asking, have any one of you have done the phrase query on Google or something? If so, then how you have done so?
Sir, if we put the double inverted comma, then it means that this sentence must be in proper order.
Nice. So kind of the way we have done here. So we put kind of Stanford University in double quote, something like that. And in that way it means we want to tell the search engine. So we want them together, or we want to basically we want to treat that as a right. Is that you mean, right?
Yes, sir.
So it means, I mean, they should come together firstly, and they should come after another, like Stanford and then university together, right? But do you think it is easy or probably convenient for user every time to just put the kind of double quote for highlighting the phrases?
No, sir. If there are multiple sentences, then it is a very tedious task.
Yeah, so in that case I think it will be an issue. You are right. So what could be the other solutions? Explicit, but sometimes there will be implicit phrase queries, right? Because every time you don't want to write Stanford University, right? So many times kind of it is implicit. So in that case, what do you think could be a solution to that?
Sir, instead of putting the inverted code every time, we put the sentence, and whenever we don't want to the exact match, no sir, sorry, this won't work.
It's fine, it's fine. Anyone else want to try? Rahul, want to try?
Sir, I was speaking. Yes.
Okay, no issue. Okay, you are speaking. Okay, sorry. Anyone
Sir,
else want to try?
so like in
Yeah,
NLP,
Divya, please go ahead.
went for like bigrams or trigrams, something of that sort.
We need to go beyond that. So possibly Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Divya,
Yes.
Dharmendra?
Yes. Audible,
Okay,
audible.
yeah, thank Dharmendra. And so I think my internet is not in good mood today, or probably power supply. Anyway, classes, but yeah, but we have to deal with that, no issue. So let's go for the rest of the slide. Again, it's saying network is unstable. I don't know. What can I do? Okay. So yeah, so we discuss about Stanford University as a phrase, and that's why Divya has rightly mentioned we need to consider probably anagrams and so in order to make the better search. So one possibility could be we also for every tokens we also consider the frequency, how long, and probably what all positions and what all document they have come. So you can think of this as a index every consecutive pair, so kind of bigram that by word or bigram that we are referring. So in this case, suppose you have a sentence: friends, Romans, countrymen. So different bigrams could be friends, Romans, countrymen. Do you think the friend, countrymen could also be one bigram here? Anyone? So friends, countrymen can friends, countrymen be a bigram here?
No,
Anyone?
sir.
No,
They are
right?
not
No, it should be in
Condition of
sequential.
anagram, yeah. So the condition of anagram should be, yeah, they should come adjacent. They should be together. So like in case of bywords or bigram, it should be adjacent. So adjacent word will be friends, Romans, or probably Romans, countrymen, and so on. So each of these bywords is now a kind of dictionary term. The way earlier you have only friends, Romans, or probably countrymen as a kind of token on which you have done the indexing. So now you also have to do indexing on friends, Romans, countrymen, and probably all the possible bywords. So one benefit is that you will be able to perform a better search, right? But what will be the drawback?
So because in a bigram, suppose we have two words. So in earlier case, we were searching for Brutus only, so it was a single word. So now here we have to search like more documents because
Right.
we have two words.
So it means kind of searching time will increase firstly, and secondly, I mean even the indexing, because index also comes with storage, right? I mean, firstly indexing time, secondly the whole store of index will be increased, and probably there will be other issues, right? So it means, I mean, just increasing uh, uh, I mean just increasing basically the anagram is not the solution, because somehow you can think of including bywords, because though we understand that anagram may be useful and probably may lead you to very accurate answer, but that has other complication like speed, probably the complexity, storage, and so on. So that's why, yeah.
So,
So
sir, are we only storing two word indexes or one word indexes also we
no,
store?
one will also be there. I mean,
Okay.
because not every query is kind of not every query is kind of phrase query, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that I
So,
mean yeah, lower
but
lower n-gram will be always there. So it's more just increasing it.
doing that will just increase the space of indexing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
that
what
is
you
the
said.
drawback.
Yeah.
Right. That is right. So for another additional issue that you can think of, that may basically also give you a lot of false positive results. So for example, here in the query is Stanford University Palo Alto. If you're considering the bigram, so it will be like Stanford University or University Palo or Palo Alto. So with this docs, we cannot verify the docs matching the above Boolean query and do contain the phrases, right? So in this case, we can have a number of false positive results. In fact, that was the case earlier as well. But often the phrase, if you're going to consider all words in the available, so you cannot basically consider, because so for example, a phrase having 10 words, right? One possibility could be you have 10 gram. But again, as we have discussed, I mean, one drawback of such a phrase query is that you cannot have 10 gram, because in that case the index size will be too high, too big, and it may not be feasible to probably uh, perform well, right? In that case, probably you consider the lower gram. And in this case, suppose if you consider the bigram, you may also encounter a number of document where it may have Stanford University but not the Palo Alto. It may have University Palo but probably not others. So even though, I mean, finally you come up with a list of document which has all those, but it might be the case they are not all together. So probably in some part of the document it has Stanford University, in some of the part of the document it may have University Palo, and another part of the document may have Palo Alto, but not together. So these are lead you to the false positive cases. So false positive is something, probably a new word to some of the people. Anybody would like to answer this? What is false positive for the reference for everyone? What do you mean? What do you mean by false positive results?
So we actually retrieve a document that is not relevant but is perceived as relevant by the system.
Right, right. So false positive, it means, I mean, yeah, so document has given that document, I mean, your system has basically given that document, assuming that this might be a result, but in reality, that is not the correct document, right? So it means it is positive from the system side, probably the false from the user side. Is it clear, everyone? Good. So when you basically do the, I mean, the evaluation, when you do the different follow the different evaluation metric like precision, recall, and so on, you will see that false positive cases basically often comes, and you have to deal with that, because your aim is to reduce false positive numbers. Are you agree with this point?
Yes, sir.
Right. So yeah, so issue is byword. So false positive, as noted before as well, as I said, indexes blow up due to bigger dictionary, because now you have not only but like single word, but also the bywords, and probably big even if you want to have them. So byword indexes are not the standard solution for all bywords, so but can be part of compound strategy. So because if you're going to have the bywords, again you have to make a decision, should you have the byword for, you should basically index all byword or probably some of them, or probably important one. That call you have to make. So solution 2 is the positional index, right? So what they do in the posting list, basically for every term, because how the current position, how the current posting list works. So for a given term, you have all the documents here. So like in traditional way, you have term, like here the document 1, document 5, document 10, whichever has the term. But if you want to keep track of indexes, then probably you need probably a bit other ways of representation. So for positional indexes, in fact, these are a bit popular, you can say, the indexing technique now. So what they do, you have the term, and here the document frequency, like how many document have this particular term, right? So this is kind of traditional way of doing so. And in additional positional index, what you do for all the document, you will keep a position at which position the term has come. So for example, in document 1, probably it has come in paragraph 1, say word number 10. Similarly, say after 10, after 10 basically words, again it has come, so it's kind of 10, 20, or probably 50, or probably 57, and so on. Similarly, you have for document 1. So this give you flexibility of performing complex queries with, or this will basically help you to reduce the false positive cases. So for example, in this case, suppose the query is to be or not to be. So here basically, if we look at the positional index of B, so it means there are, I mean, yeah, so kind of 9,93,427 documents are there which having B. So in this way, basically you can have all the list of document, like document 1 has these position, like position 7, 18, 13, 72, 86, 231. Similarly for document 2, it has at these two places, and so on. You basically list down all the 9,93,000 document that you have listed here. So if suppose I ask you, the query is to be or not to be, can you tell me which, at least the 4 documents I have shown here, 1, 2, 4, 5, may have this query? Anyone?
So fifth one.
First one. That is
Fifth one.
fifth one. This one.
So because the difference between the two indexes, occurrence of index is a bit low, so the two B's might be in proximity. So there's a possibility that it could be a part of the sentence.
No, can you be certain? I mean, you're saying possibility. Can you be certain here? Anyone? Yeah, so you are right here. Yeah, so it, I mean, because you are only keeping track of B, right? So 63 and 67, the gap among them is kind of 4. And so here, if you look at two B's, B and not to B. So among these two B, there are 4 consecutive words. So it means, I mean, at least these first 3 documents are not for sure, right? You don't have to look at them because the first B, as suppose at 7, and after that is 18. So at least this may not be. But can it be between these two? Again, the difference is quite high because if particular document has to be or not to be, the difference between 2B should be 4. I mean, if it has. So like at least these two, it's more than 4, more than 4, more than 4, more than 4, more than 4. So it seems certainly document 1 don't have to be or not to be. In case of this, certainly don't have. In this case, certainly don't have. But in this case,
Sir,
We
it
can have
is
in document 4.
for document,
430
sorry,
to 434. Yes.
yeah, 413. So it means document 4 and document 5 may have to be and not to be, and that can be further investigated whether the in between thing is there or not. So in this way, you can basically use positional indexes to perform a complex query like this, or you can say especially the phrase queries. So for phrase queries, we use the merge algorithm recursively at the document level. So in the previous class, we have discussed about the merge queries algorithm, how you can perform. So in this case, it will be kind of variant of that. So a bit overwhelming at the moment. So we can skip this, but overall idea is same, how you can perform the merging. So it's kind of, we need to deal with more than just one equality. But again, so the merging algorithm can be modified based on additional data that you have, like the positional indexes. So processing a phrase query, so extract inverted index entries for each distinct term, so to be or not. So these are the thing. So in this case, you can merge their document position. So yeah, so I'm not going to detail of this, but if you want, I mean, probably you can think more about it, how you can perform the merging in case of phrase query. So other proximity queries can be, so similarly, you can limit and then probably the exclamation that you have, similarly within 3 word, within 2 word, and so on. In this case, you can run any query, proximity search, and you can get the results. So clearly the positional indexes can be used for such queries, because if you want to know within 3 words, so now you know the indexes, right? So since you know the indexes, you can use this /k, that is within k words. So you can probably run the thing.
Hello?
Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, this positional index only works in the case of phrase query where we have 2 words in query, right? Like to or be in our case.
No, it could be more as well, right? And again, it's not only.
No, my doubt is like if there is only unique words in the phrase query, then how this positional indexes will work?
The positional index will be mainly using if you have more than 1 tokens in the query. Because if it is just one, then why do you need to
No, sir. I'm not talking about the length. I'm talking about the words frequency in the phrase query. Like the query is to be or not to be, right? Here two's frequency is 2 and b's frequency is 2. But we if we have phrase query of only unique words, like all the words have frequency 1, then how will this positional indexes will work there?
Because you have this, right? I mean, because you have for different different the tokens that you have, you are firstly looking at what all document it has, and among those document what is their position. So can't this will be useful there?
Sir, no, in case of unique words, I don't think so that would work.
Anybody want to comment or answer this question? I will have to probably think more about this. Anyone?
Sir, I think there is a problem. Just go to the one slide back. Yes, sir. Instead of to be or not to be, we are only searching be, and the sentence might be like a b or uh, some other words, and only there is a to be. So in this case, it will not perform well, I think. And
Okay.
yes, Dipankar is correct. Then we need also to check the other words also.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, this might be the case. So yeah, so we have to think about it. We have to think about what is the best way then we can do. I will have to also think about it.
Sir, can I ask something? If
Yeah,
you
sure.
go back to the previous slide, and one more previous, back, 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 one slide back. The college name is there. Yes, sir, this one. So, sir, I'm searching Stanford University Palo Alto. So, sir, instead of this one, can I search just for Stanford, and from these documents, I will list out those documents having university, and then Palo, and then Alto. Then after this, I will try to implement this keyword here, like we talked about to be or not to be. Then
So
in this
definitely
case,
you can do so, but we also have to think about in terms of number of operation which is required. So if you only going to have Stanford, right, first.
yes,
So definitely the number of documents are probably if you look at the posting list of Stanford University and the Stanford. So certainly the posting list of Stanford will be much high as compared to Stanford University, I believe, right?
yes.
So similarly, if you're going to once you found the Stanford, then you just only go for University or Palo, right? So yeah, so we have to think about. So definitely you can solve the issue, get the answer, but I'm not sure whether that will be optimized one.
Sir, I think it will give the correct solution better than we talked about.
Maybe the context can be lost if we do this thing. Context the statement may be lost.
Right.
So also one more thing that we were talking about the unique thing, the unique words in the sentence, because here in all these methods we are not giving the importance to some words now. Because if I say that I study in triple ITD, so everything is unique, but triple ITD is a word which should be given some importance to basically search the documents. So here we have not discussed now about the importance of the words.
No, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. So it whatever the model that we're representing, these are not the optimized, or you can say the best model we have, right? Again, we are studying how the information retrieval system evolving over the time, right? So whatever the issue that you're saying, that might be certainly there. In fact, there could be solution as well. Yeah, so if you have to give importance, yeah, so you have to think about how you can give the importance to such words. So for example, if the frequency is high, right? So how about how about can you come up with some other strategies through which you can give the more weightage to such kind of words, right? So I believe, yeah, so your concern is right, but Yeah, so how you can give more importance to such, for example, triple ITD in this given context. Yeah, so that we have to think. So that's why I mean, if you study later on in the later part of the slides, probably not here. So basically, I mean, that's why people also do kind of uh, uh, part of speech tagging, right? So for a given query, you perform the part of speech tagging to determine, okay, so whether the word is like noun, pronoun, verb, and so on. So in this case, I mean, usually if you have a query, right? So I hope you can understand, probably a noun phrase may be important than the stop words, right? Similarly, you can say the verb may have more importance than probably other part of speech like article, right? So in that case, you can give more importance, or probably while doing the optimization, or probably while getting the fetching the posting list, you may emphasize more on the probably verb and noun name entity rather than probably other part of the query. Or probably you can perform the phrase query for the name entity, because for example, you're looking for, say, for example, Naren Modi, right? In that case, you need to search for the name entity which came to Naren Modi, which should be coming together, right? In this way, basically, you can give more importance to the named entity, or probably other part of the word, other part of the word query, and accordingly you can process. Did I answer the question?
Yes, yes. Got it.
Great. So similarly, positional index size, you can basically have a look at this. So it's more about need an entry for each occurrence, not just once per document. So I skip this part. So consider this case. I mean, you have document size of 1000, and posting is just one. So in this case, I mean, the positional index will be positional posting will be on. Since it's 0.1%, there will be 100 out of whole document size. So you can have a look at this in the book. I probably skim through this part because I want to probably finish this today. So rules of thumb says more like positional index is 2 to 4 times large as compared to non-positional index, because if you're going to have position, so it means it incurs cost, so that's why it is a bit longer. And in terms of size, is usually it's a 30 to 35 to 40 50% volume of original text. So in this way, I mean, you can think of, yeah, though if you're going to consider the positional index, it is going to increase the overall index size and so on. So okay, so this is the last slide of the today. So that's why probably people think of what could be the probably the combination scheme. So these two approaches can be profitable combined. So for particular Michael Jackson and Britney, it is insufficient to keep on merging positional posting list. So yeah, so I will have to probably think more about it as well. So William ETL 2004 evaluate a more sophisticated mixed indexing schemes. So can anybody comment what do we mean here? So a typical web query mixture was executed 1/4 of the time of using just positional index. It requires 26% more space than having positional index. So overall idea is like, if you're going to have positional index, that may basically provide you more flexibility in terms of executing or processing the complex query, because often you want to keep the context in your mind while doing the search, right? So that's why the positional index can help you, but at the same time it requires probably more space than having a probably positional index alone. That's why, I mean, it's basically the trade-off, whether you want to have the mixed indexing scheme or probably just positional index scheme, or probably the traditional inverted index that you are doing. So with this note, I would like to, yeah, we can basically end here today. But overall, I hope you got an overview of how the whole IR based system works, specifically the binary Boolean, you can say the Boolean information retrieval system work, how the inverted indexes work, and in case of inverted index, if you have to include the positional and positional indexes, then how it is going to help in overall information retrieval system. So with this note, yeah, so we can end today here. And in terms of projects, I got some queries from the TAs. Like you have some queries on like, can we extend the deadline for, I mean, the project for your this course? So is here anyone who have not finalized their project title, at least the direction, or do you need more time for this, or today's deadline is fine with you?
Yes, sir, we need more time.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
Yes, sir.
okay. So how much more time?
I guess 1 to 2 days, something.
Okay, is 1 to 2 days fine with everyone, or do we need more time?
Sorry, you can keep the 31 January.
31 is which day? 31 is, wait a second, so it's a
Sunday.
kind of Sunday, so kind of by end of this week, right? Weekend.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sure. So what we can do, we can keep 31st or something. So meanwhile, let me get back to you more details on the project rubric. So let me discuss with the students so that will basically help you to determine whether you want to have like research based or probably the engineering based project. But I hope at least you at this position you might be in situation to shortlist some projects, right? Which one you want to have?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so fully utilize the time that the TAs have. So they already available on weekly basis. They have already shared their calendar. So please meet them. So did you attend? Any one of you attended the sessions assigned to you? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I hope that is useful. I request everyone to please attend the same, especially if you want to discuss your doubts, especially if you want to discuss your projects, because the TAs will certainly help you and help you in finalizing the project that you want to have and probably clearing whatever the other doubts that you have. So please attend the sessions that we are organizing for you. Okay.
Yes,
Hello,
sure.
hello, sir. Sir, could you please shift today's NLP introductory session?
We already shifted, right? We already shifted from.
Actually, we have a TA meeting on that exact time.
The thing is, yeah,
That's
so
why.
every day there will be some issue, right? So we have already moved from Wednesday to Thursday. So if you are able to attend, that's good. If not, I mean, when you free, join it, and we will keep the recording so for your reference.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, then thanks everyone and have a good day. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.